It's the return of baseball with Bruce, and it is the beginning of sectionals. This is the most fun time of the year. It's what it's all about, right?
That's right. It certainly is. And this year in the sectionals, it's going to be a little different. The first game was on Monday. Bowser lost to the Norwalk Truckers, so they're going to be done. But I'll tell you, Joel, usually you go into a year or into the sectionals and then the district, you have a pretty good idea who's going to come through in each division. This year you can throw that out. There's any one of a number of teams that could get through and go far.
And there's a coaching element to this, right? Some teams
Yes.
that have multiple pitchers, or maybe you have one ace. It's a matter of when you want to throw those guys and how much you're able to throw those guys.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, Joel, that you bring that up, because everywhere I go, a parent will ask me, why isn't so-and-so throwing tonight? Why isn't he pitching more? And that's because in the state of Ohio, there's a pitch code rule that all coaches must follow. If you throw between 0 and 30 pitches, you can pitch the next day. From 31 to 50, you must have 1 day's rest. From 51 to 75, you must have 2 days rest. And once you go over 75 up to 125, you have to have 3 days rest. Now, if you reach your 125 pitches and you're still facing a batter, you can complete that batter, but immediately upon completion of that batter, there must be a pitching change.
Whose responsibility is it to keep track of all that?
Both coaches will keep track of it, and if there's any discrepancy, it's the home team's book. But, you know, I've been around a lot and seen there's really been no discrepancy. And I think the most important thing you got to remember, it's about protecting the kids. Coaches get competitive, and sometimes they were pushing that limit over 125, and you don't want to see that, especially when the biggest time of the year is coming up.
You know, when we're talking about big-time coaches in this area, Jeff Melcarrick is one that always comes to mind.
No question.
A bit of a down year for that program,
Yep.
but I know there's a lot to be excited about with him.
There's a lot to be excited about. I had the Central Catholic game on Monday, and it was absolutely awesome. Jeff, in his 38th year at Central Catholic, has built one of the dynasty programs in Northwest Ohio. They have 4 sophomores, the super sophomores. They're going to be the next lineage in this program. Preston Frizzell, everyone knows who he is. He's a great football player, getting recruited by a lot of big schools, will go national. Gavin Eckhart, behind home plate catcher. He's got great skills. His defensive skills are probably way ahead of his offensive skills right now. Even though he had 3 hits in the game yesterday, he looks great. Vinny Reamer, got to see him pitch for the first time yesterday. He did absolutely wonderful for Central. And last but not least, Dre Wardrop, who is playing shortstop for them, and you can just see it's his first year of varsity action, but he's got tremendous speed. If you're going to beat him, you might want to beat him now.
Well, who do we need to beat in our area? That's our top 4 on Cherry Street. What about our top 10 in this region as we get into the playoffs?
And this region's tremendously strong. At number 10, the Napoleon Wildcats, 16-8 on the season. Number 9, having dropped a little bit, the Whitmer Panthers are 14-7 and coming back to a little bit of reality. Keep an eye on Ottawa Hills, the number 8 team. They're 14-5, but with Jackson Snyder and Sebastian Stevens, they can go deep in the tournament. Eastwood, 18-3. They can go very deep in the tournament. A team that's been quietly under the radar, the Lake Flyers, they're 20-3 on the season. Everyone knows about Defiance, and they're continuing to have another great season at 18-4. Perrysburg I have at the number 4 team at 18-7, but those 7 losses are quality baseball programs. Anthony Wayne, who beat Perrysburg twice last week, is moving up, and they're getting hot at the right time, 18-5. Sylvania Northview, who's been dynamite, 18-4 on the season, and number 1 is still the Clay Eagles. They're 18-3. They did have a couple losses last week. They're dealing with some things out there in Oregon, but I'll tell you what, the Clay Eagles, you take any one of those teams and don't be surprised to see them in the districts and possibly the regionals, and who knows, one of them may have a state run in front of them.
Throw out the records. Don't throw out your brackets. Keep them close by and keep it with Sports Nightly. We'll be sure to have you back here to talk about it all next week. Thank you.
Joel, thanks so much.